Love doesn't always shout, and real men don't always announce what they feel. Sometimes the truest kind of affection is wrapped in silence, shown through steady actions, quiet sacrifices, and the small, unnoticed ways he guards the woman he loves. In a world where attention often replaces intention, a man who protects without performing, who loves without seeking praise, is rare. His love doesn't come with speeches or promises carved in glittering words. It comes through presence, reliability, and peace. He's not loud about how he feels, because he doesn't have to be. She feels it in how he shows up. He's the kind of man who pays attention to details most overlook. The shift in her tone, the tiredness behind her smile, the way she hides her stress behind laughter. He notices even when she doesn't think anyone does. He won't always say, "I'm here," but he'll prove it through the way he steadies her world without making her feel small. When she's struggling, he doesn't rush to fix everything. He stands beside her, offering calm instead of control. His strength isn't loud, but it's constant, like quiet gravity keeping her anchored when life tries to pull her apart. This kind of love isn't about perfection or dominance. It's about devotion. He doesn't need to own her, change her, or lead her. He just wants her to feel safe being herself. Whether it's walking her to her door, giving up his own comfort so she can rest, or listening to what she doesn't say, his protection isn't an act of possession, but of care. Every gesture is thoughtful, intentional, and done with quiet dignity. He doesn't love for attention. He loves for peace, hers and his. And maybe that's the most powerful kind of love there is. The one that doesn't demand to be seen but can always be felt. The one that stays calm when chaos hits. The one that doesn't just hold hands but holds hearts steady. A man like this doesn't measure love in words. He measures it in patience, in presence, in every silent moment that says, "You're safe with me." This is the love that thrives not in noise, but in understanding. A love that doesn't compete with the world. It protects you from it. He doesn't promise the stars. He becomes your shelter under them. His love may not echo across rooms, but it lingers, quiet, loyal, unbreakable. Because the truth is simple. The loudest kind of love is often the one that never needs to speak at all. He watches her back, even when she doesn't notice. Watches her back even when she doesn't notice. Not out of control, but out of quiet devotion. When she walks into a room, he subtly positions himself where he can see who approaches. When she's talking, he listens to the tone of others more than the words, ready to step in if someone disrespects her. He doesn't announce his protection or boast about being her shield. It's simply in his nature to make her feel safe without her ever having to ask. He checks that she reaches home safely, remembers the small details she forgets, and notices when someone's energy around her feels off. He won't interfere with her independence, because he respects her strength. But in the background, he creates a quiet layer of safety that surrounds her. Whether it's making sure her car is fueled before a long trip, or walking her to her door late at night, his care is in the details, silent, steady, and unseen. He doesn't protect her because he thinks she's weak. He does it because he sees her worth. And in every unspoken gesture, he tells her, "You're not alone. I've got you, even when you don't see it." He defends her reputation in her absence. He defends her reputation in her absence because love, to him, means loyalty even when no one is watching. When others talk carelessly or twist her words, he doesn't stay silent. He steps in with calm confidence. He doesn't need to raise his voice or start a fight. His presence alone is enough to remind people that she's not someone to be disrespected. He corrects lies with truth, clears misunderstandings with dignity, and never allows gossip to define the woman he loves. He understands that a person's true loyalty is revealed when the one they care about isn't there to hear it. So when she's not around, he still carries her name with honor. To him, defending her reputation isn't about being heroic, it's about being decent. He values her image the same way he values his own, knowing that words can wound deeper than actions. And though she may never know the number of times he stood up for her, the respect in his eyes and the peace in her heart say it all. In his silence, he guards her name like something precious, because to him, it is free. He avoids situations that could hurt her. Trust. He avoids situations that could hurt her trust, because he values her peace more than his pride. He knows that trust isn't built with promises, but protected through choices. Small, daily ones that prove he's dependable even when no one's watching. If a message feels inappropriate, he leaves it unanswered. If a conversation crosses a boundary, he steps away. Not because he's scared of temptation, but because he respects the bond they've built too deeply to risk it. He doesn't entertain people who speak badly about her or flirt to test her patience. He keeps transparency as his quiet language of love, sharing where he is, who he's with, not to prove innocence, but to show intention. His actions say, "I care enough about your heart to never make you question it." He understands that trust, once broken, rarely returns the same. So he moves carefully, not out of fear, but out of love. His loyalty isn't loud. It's seen in the way he chooses peace over ego, honesty over attention, and her comfort over his convenience. That's how he protects her trust, by never giving her a reason to doubt it. He checks on her safety without making it obvious. Turning care into a quiet form of love, he'll ask if she got home safely, but in a way that feels casual, not overprotective. He'll notice if her phone battery is low and remind her gently, or send her a quick message when she's traveling late, just enough to let her know someone's thinking of her. When she's walking alone, he might call under some excuse. "Just wanted to hear your voice," when in truth, he's making sure she's safe. He doesn't track or control her. He trusts her independence. But love, to him, means watching over her world in ways she never has to request. He learns her routines not to monitor her, but to know when something feels off. He pays attention when she says, "I'll be fine," because sometimes he can hear the fatigue behind those words. She may never see the full extent of his quiet watchfulness. How he waits for her, "I'm home" text, or how he keeps her location in mind when storms hit. But that's how he loves, unseen, unspoken, and unwavering. A silent guardian disguised as a calm voice that always asks, "You home safe?" 5. He keeps her secrets like they're his own. Not out of duty, but out of deep respect. When she opens up about her fears, mistakes, or memories that still sting, he listens with the kind of silence that says, "You're safe here." He understands that trust isn't just about loyalty and love. It's about being a vault for her vulnerability. Once she's shared something personal, it never becomes a story to retell. Not even in casual conversation. He doesn't use her secrets to gain sympathy or to win an argument. Even in moments of anger, he guards what she confided in him, because real love doesn't weaponize someone's pain. He knows that for her to trust him again tomorrow, he has to protect what she said yesterday. Keeping her secrets is his way of saying he values her dignity as much as her affection. It's not about silence out of fear, it's silence out of love. He doesn't need to prove that he's trustworthy. His consistency does that for him, and somewhere deep down, she knows whatever she tells him stays wrapped in the quiet confidence of his heart, unshared, untouched, and unbroken. He sacrifices small comforts to make her feel secure. Often in ways she never even notices. When she's cold, he gives her his jacket without thinking twice. When she's tired, he takes the longer route so she can rest. He stays awake just to make sure she gets home safely, even if he has work early the next day. These gestures may seem small, but to him, they're the language of care. Quiet sacrifices that whisper, "Your comfort matters more than mine." He doesn't make a show of his efforts or remind her of what he gives up. Real love in his eyes doesn't need applause. It's in skipping a night out with friends to be by her side when she's feeling low, or pretending not to be hungry so she can finish the last bite. His sacrifices aren't grand or dramatic. They're steady, consistent, and deeply human. He knows that security isn't just physical, it's emotional. So he gives her peace in a world that often takes it away. By letting go of small comforts, he gives her something far greater. The assurance that she's loved by someone who puts her safety, warmth, and happiness above his own ease. 7. He guides her away from people with bad intentions. Not by controlling her choices, but by protecting her peace. He has a quiet intuition about people, the way someone's tone shifts when she's not around, or how a friend seems too curious about her private life. He doesn't accuse or command. Instead, he calmly helps her see what he sees. Sometimes it's a soft warning. Just be careful with him, something feels off. Other times, it's the subtle way he steps in, changing the topic or steering her out of uncomfortable conversations. He never embarrasses her or makes her feel naive. He knows she's strong enough to make her own decisions. He just wants her to have all the truth before she does. His goal isn't control, it's clarity. And when she realizes later that he was right, he never says, "I told you so." He simply listens, stays present, and helps her move forward without bitterness. His love isn't loud, it's protective. He becomes a quiet filter between her and the world's hidden intentions, absorbing the noise, deflecting the harm, and ensuring that only what's genuine reaches her heart. That's how he loves, by keeping her safe from what she can't yet see. He takes responsibility during tough situations. Because he understands that love isn't proven in comfort. It's revealed in chaos. When things go wrong, he doesn't point fingers or hide behind excuses. He steps up, not just to fix the problem, but to protect her from unnecessary stress. If plans fall apart, he absorbs the frustration first so she doesn't have to. If someone disrespects her, he faces it calmly but firmly, showing that she's never alone in a storm. He knows that being a man in love isn't about dominance. It's about reliability. When life becomes heavy, he carries a little more weight so she can breathe. He takes accountability for his words, even when it's hard, because he values their peace over his pride. Instead of saying, "It's not my fault," he says, "We'll handle it," turning conflict into unity. In moments of pressure, he becomes the steady ground beneath her feet, the kind of presence that turns panic into calm. He doesn't run from problems. He meets them head-on, knowing that responsibility isn't a burden when it's carried for someone you love. In silence and strength, he becomes her quiet assurance that they'll get through anything, together. He supports her dreams without overshadowing them. Because he understands that love isn't about leading or following. It's about walking side by side. When she talks about her goals, he listens with genuine pride, not envy. He doesn't compete with her success or feel threatened by her ambition. Instead, he celebrates it like it's his own. He becomes her quiet motivator, the one who says, "You can do this," when doubt creeps in. He never tries to take credit for her achievements or guide her path to fit his comfort. He offers advice only when asked and space when she needs to grow. He knows that her independence doesn't weaken their bond, it strengthens it. When she shines, he doesn't feel smaller. He feels fulfilled, because the woman he loves is blooming into everything she's meant to be. He's the kind of man who stands in the background, clapping the loudest while letting her take the stage. His support isn't performative. It's patient, consistent, and deeply proud. He knows that true love doesn't demand the spotlight. It builds one for both to share. And in that quiet partnership, both rise higher than they ever could alone. He notices when she's uncomfortable and steps in. Not to control the situation, but to protect her peace. He's attuned to the subtle signs others might overlook, the way her smile fades too quickly, how her shoulders tense, or how her laughter sounds forced when she wants to leave. He doesn't need her to say she's uneasy. He feels it instinctively. With quiet confidence, he changes the subject, moves closer, or finds a reason to guide her away, turning tension into safety without drawing attention. He never embarrasses her or makes it obvious. Instead, his actions speak in a language only she understands. A hand gently placed on her back, a look that says, "I've got you," or a small excuse that lets her step out gracefully. His calm presence becomes her unspoken escape route. He doesn't see himself as her rescuer, but as her ally. He knows that real love means being emotionally aware, not waiting for words, but reading between them. And long after the moment passes, she realizes something beautiful. She never had to ask for protection, because with him it was already there, quiet, constant, and sincere. Love, he stays calm. When she needs stability, he stays calm when she needs stability, because he knows that love isn't only about passion, it's also about peace. When life gets messy or emotions run high, he doesn't add fuel to the fire. He becomes the stillness she can lean on. Even when she's upset, crying, or spiraling in doubt, he doesn't react with impatience. Instead, he listens, stays grounded, and lets her feel safe enough to unravel without judgment. His calmness tells her, "You don't have to hold everything together. I've got you." He understands that real strength isn't in loud words or raised voices, it's in steady presence. When she's overwhelmed, he doesn't fix every problem. He offers quiet reassurance through his tone, his touch, his silence. He becomes the balance she didn't know she needed, the kind of calm that slows her heartbeat and clears her thoughts. Even in conflict, he chooses composure over ego. He knows that emotional storms pass faster when one person stays anchored. His calm isn't coldness. It's love translated into steadiness. And through that, he teaches her one powerful truth. She can fall apart and still be safe, because he'll be the calm in every chaos. He listens to what she doesn't say. He listens to what she doesn't say. The pauses, the sighs, the quiet hesitations between words. He's learned to read her emotions in silence, to sense when her "I'm fine" really means "I'm tired," or when her laughter hides something fragile underneath. He doesn't interrupt or rush her to speak. He gives her space to let the silence speak for her, because sometimes love isn't about fixing. It's about understanding what words can't express. He notices the small details others overlook. When her messages grow shorter, when her tone shifts ever so slightly, or when her eyes lose their usual spark. Instead of pushing her to explain, he simply shows up, with gentleness, presence, and patience. He knows that sometimes the heart speaks softly, and the only way to hear it is to listen with empathy, not ears. His kind of listening makes her feel seen even when she can't find the right words. It's a rare gift, to feel understood without having to explain yourself. And that's what he gives her. A love that doesn't just hear her voice, but truly listens to her silence. He protects her peace. From unnecessary drama, he protects her peace from unnecessary drama, because he knows her mind deserves calm, not chaos. He's the kind of man who filters what reaches her, not by hiding truth, but by keeping her away from noise that doesn't matter. When gossip starts, he doesn't repeat it. When conflict brews, he doesn't drag her into it. Instead, he stands like a quiet wall between her and the world's distractions, letting her rest without the weight of other people's nonsense. He understands that peace is precious, and not every argument deserves attention. So, he keeps their relationship free from the constant push and pull of outside influence. If someone tries to provoke him, he walks away, not out of weakness, but out of love for her tranquility. He knows that his reactions ripple into her emotions, so he chooses calm even when pride tempts him otherwise. He doesn't raise his voice to prove he's right. He lowers it to protect her energy. His silence becomes her shield, his patience her comfort. And though she may never see all the storms he diffuses before they reach her, she feels the result every day. A love that feels like home, not a battlefield. He puts her safety above his ego. He puts her safety above his ego because to him, love isn't about proving strength. It's about protecting what truly matters. When danger or discomfort appears, his first instinct isn't pride or anger. It's her well-being. He'd rather walk away from a confrontation than let things escalate while she stands nearby. He knows that being right isn't worth risking her peace, and that real courage isn't in fighting. It's in choosing calm when her safety is on the line. He never uses her presence as a reason to show dominance or control. Instead, he steps between her and harm with quiet resolve, not for attention, but for assurance. If the road feels unsafe, he walks closer to the side that faces risk. If the night feels uneasy, he insists on dropping her home. And when she worries, his voice becomes steady, the kind of tone that makes fear shrink away. He understands that ego builds walls, but love builds shelter. So, he lets go of pride, anger, and bravado, because none of that compares to her peace. His protection isn't loud or heroic. It's steady, selfless, and real. In every small act, he proves that her safety will always come before his pride. 15. He loves her quietly, but fiercely. He loves her quietly, but fiercely, in a way that doesn't demand attention, yet fills every corner of her life with warmth. His love doesn't come with grand gestures or dramatic confessions. It lives in the small, steady moments, the way he remembers what makes her smile, how he checks in just to hear her voice, or how he silently stands by her when the world feels too heavy. He doesn't shout his feelings from rooftops. He shows them through consistency, loyalty, and presence. His love is not loud, but it's unshakable. When she's tired, he becomes her calm. When she's lost, he becomes her compass. He doesn't compete for validation or flaunt affection for approval. He simply loves deeply, privately, and without conditions. The world might never notice how much he cares, but she does, in the way his actions always align with his heart. He's the kind of man who doesn't need to say, "I love you," 100 times to prove it. His silence carries more sincerity than empty promises ever could. His love is quiet enough to be humble, yet fierce enough to last forever. The kind of love that doesn't fade. It anchors.